After connection no longer carries need, another familiar structure begins to soften. Defense. Not boundaries themselves, but the tension behind them. For much of our lives, boundaries were built as protection. We learned to say no because yes hurt. We learned to create distance because closeness overwhelmed us. We learned to guard ourselves because something once crossed a line. Those boundaries were necessary. They kept us safe. They taught us discernment. They allowed us to remain intact. But when presence becomes the ground, and connection is no longer used to stabilize the self, defense begins to feel heavy. Not wrong, outdated. I noticed this shift when boundaries started arising without emotion attached. I would say no, and there was no charge, no anger, no justification, no story about why, just clarity. And that clarity didn't feel protective. Felt simple. Boundaries without defense don't come from fear. They come from contact. You feel what's appropriate. You feel what isn't. And you respond. There's no armor involved. This is subtle because we're used to boundaries carrying tension. We associate strength with firmness. We associate clarity with force. So when boundaries arise gently, they can feel insufficient. Am I being too soft? Am I letting things slide? Am I abandoning myself? But nothing is being abandoned. Defense is what's leaving. Boundaries without defense are cleaner. They don't require explanation. You don't rehearse them beforehand. You don't fortify them afterward. They happen in real time. You notice something doesn't fit, and you adjust. This adjustment doesn't feel reactive. It feels responsive. Before, boundaries often came late. You tolerated. You absorbed. You overextended. And then, when it became too much, you erected a wall. That wall was defensive because it had to be. Now, boundaries arise earlier, before resentment, before exhaustion, before collapse. And because they arise earlier, they don't need force. They don't need drama. They don't need to prove anything. Living without defense changes how no feels in the body. Before, no was tight. You braced yourself. You anticipated backlash. You prepared to explain. Now, no is neutral. It's information. This doesn't mean people always like it, but you're not managing their reaction. You're not defending your boundary. You're stating it, and then you let the moment respond. Boundaries without defense also change how you relate to guilt. Before, guilt followed boundaries. Am I being selfish? Am I too much? Am I not enough? Now, guilt may still arise, but it's recognized. You don't build your behavior around it. You don't reverse your boundary to relieve discomfort. You let guilt pass, because guilt isn't authority. It's conditioning. This is important, because many people mistake guilt for moral guidance. But guilt often lags behind growth. Boundaries without defense don't negotiate with guilt. They acknowledge it and move on. This stage often brings a noticeable shift in how you hold space. Before, holding space meant enduring, listening beyond capacity, staying present past your limit. Now, holding space becomes precise. You're present while presence is available. When it isn't, you step back. That stepping back isn't withdrawal. It's honesty, and honesty keeps connection alive. Boundaries without defense also change how you experience conflict. Before, conflict triggered protection. You either shut down or armored up. Now, conflict becomes information. Something isn't aligned. You don't take it personally. You don't escalate. You respond to what's happening. You state what you can and can't engage with. You don't need to convince. You don't need to win. You're not defending territory. You're clarifying reality. This often surprises people. They may expect pushback. They may expect justification. Instead, they get steadiness. And steadiness has weight. Boundaries without defense also reshape how you relate to your past. Before, boundaries were shaped by memory. I can't do this because of what happened. I won't go there again. Those boundaries were necessary. But now, the past isn't the primary reference. The present is. You don't avoid situations because they resemble old wounds. You meet situations as they are now. If something doesn't fit, you respond now. If it does, you engage. This makes boundaries adaptive instead of rigid. You're not protecting a story. You're responding to reality. This stage often brings a sense of ease in social situations. You're not scanning for threats. You're not preparing defenses. You're available. And availability doesn't mean openness to everything. It means openness to what's appropriate. Boundaries without defense are flexible. They move with context. They don't need to be absolute. This flexibility is often mistaken for weakness, but it's the opposite. Rigid boundaries need protection because they're built from fear. Flexible boundaries don't. They adjust naturally. Living without defense also changes how you relate to yourself. Before, you guarded yourself internally. You monitored thoughts. You corrected emotions. You suppressed reactions. Now, you allow internal experience. You don't need boundaries against yourself. You feel what arises. You don't attack it. You don't push it away. You let it be information. This internal openness supports external clarity. You're not fighting yourself inside and trying to be calm outside. There's no split. Boundaries without defense also affect how you relate to authority. Before, authority triggered either compliance or resistance. Now, authority is just another relationship. You assess what's being asked. You respond accordingly. You don't submit reflexively. You don't rebel reflexively. You're not defending autonomy. You're exercising it. This is quiet confidence, not assertiveness training, presence. This stage can feel vulnerable. Defense gave you a sense of safety. Without it, you're more exposed. But that exposure isn't dangerous. It's direct. You're meeting life without padding. And padding was exhausting. Boundaries without defense don't mean you'll never feel triggered again. Triggers still happen, but they're noticed sooner. You don't let them build into walls. You feel the signal and you respond. That response might be distance. It might be speech. It might be rest. Whatever it is, it doesn't carry aggression. It carries clarity. Season 3 is about life lived from what remains after the inner machinery quiets. Presence remains. Action remains. Choice remains. Expression remains. Effort remains. Connection remains. Boundaries remain. But defense, the constant bracing against harm, is no longer required. You're not protecting yourself from life. You're participating in it with discernment. This discernment isn't learned. It's felt. If you've noticed yourself saying no more easily, if boundaries feel simpler without explanation, if you're less reactive and more clear, you're not becoming closed. You're living with boundaries without defense. And that kind of clarity doesn't push people away. It lets the right distance form naturally. And if this reflection met something real in you, liking the video helps it reach others who may be learning this quieter way of protecting themselves. If someone came to mind while listening, sharing it may help them feel less alone in this shift. You're welcome to subscribe if you'd like to continue through this season. Not to build stronger walls, but to live with clarity that doesn't need armor, unfinished and clear.